red, the mineral, some mineral must make this beautifully red. But I think it's so beautiful. And for those of us lucky enough to look out the window and see this work of art that was provided for us, it's just inspiring to me. What's interesting to me is look at this over here, completely different texture. Again, I don't know what it looks like on the ground, but just spectacular. And this lake is receding, you can tell because you can see a mineral deposit around the edge. People ask me when I came back from space, did anything change? Did you feel different? Did you have any different beliefs? You know, what did 4 months in space do to you? And what I believe is I came back so proud to be a citizen of this planet. And we all have citizenships and we all have memberships and alliances of our school or our sports team or our country or whatever. And there are times when you have to decide, is my allegiance to my sports team more important than the allegiance to my school? You know, it's not that important usually, but sometimes you have to rank them. And the difference in my life is I came back and pride of citizenship of planet is right there on top. And I wish I could bring everybody up to space so that they could see for themselves what a beautiful planet we live on and to feel that pride of citizenship of planet, which is often more important than other allegiances and citizenships that we have. Okay, here's a picture I took. Sorry, the contrast isn't too great, but I took a lot of pictures in space, 16,000 pictures in space, and some of them I didn't know really what I was taking pictures of. I would take pictures of something interesting until I get an opportunity to dig them out and figure it out. And so I took this picture of, this is, which direction are we? This is Spain and Portugal and of course Morocco here, with the Mediterranean here and the Atlantic here, Strait of Gibraltar here. Now, in the daytime, this is what you get when you look out. And in the daytime, it's hard to do the, hey, that's where I live, okay? Because from space, I think of it as an advantage. All you do during the day is see what nature has provided. The mountains, the rivers, the coastlines. At night, it's a whole different story. So this is the same region at night. We're looking the other way this time. This is Spain. So this is Lisbon here, and Madrid here. And then this is the Mediterranean Sea. Black is water, okay? And so now we follow down the coast. Here's Rabat and Casablanca. My driver yesterday was from Fez, so I believe that's Fez. And Marrakesh, I think it's right off the screen here. So this is the Find Your House slide. But at night you get to see what people have done to the earth. And so it makes it much easier to find cities and human-made things. And in the daytime you get to see what nature provides. And it's hard to see the man-made stuff. So I could never tell which was my favorite, looking at the earth at night or during the day. Okay, I lived in space for 4 months, which means that I lived for 4 months. I just happened to do it in space. So most of the things that you would have to do during those 4 months, I had to do it in space. I had to pay bills, I had to discipline my kids, everything. And your hair grows and your fingernails grow, and so I had to cut my hair. And we have special hair clippers on the space station. They're just battery-operated clippers, but we had to make a special thing that hooks up to the vacuum cleaner, because if you think about it, when you cut the little hair, if you didn't suck it up, it would just float and the other thousands of pieces of hair would float off, and you would be the least popular guy on the space station. So my hair is pretty thick, and I didn't realize it, but I clogged up that tube after about 30 seconds, and I kept cutting my hair, and I became the least popular guy on the space station, with thousands of little bits of hair in the brand new module that we had just brought up, and I spent a full day, a weekend, cleaning up my mess because it was my responsibility. I messed it up. This is my little sleeping quarters, my crew quarters, and we're all given a little private room. The main thing you see is a sleeping bag here. We use sleeping bags not particularly for warmth, because we can adjust the temperature, but mainly so that we're not floating around the space station when we're asleep. So we use it as restraint. Let's see, you can see the window that I have here, that's where I took that picture. We have trinkets from home, a computer so I can do email and watch movies. And here is my toothbrush and my toothpaste, and this silver bag holds water, because when we brush our teeth, we have to do it, well, we choose to brush our teeth in our crew compartments, because we don't have a sink. Because if you think about it, the only way that water knows to go down a drain is because gravity pulls it down. And so without gravitational forces, a sink would make no sense. And so a couple times a day, just like you should, you brush your teeth, and then you take the bottle of water, the bag of water, and you squirt some water in your mouth, and you rinse, and then you have to swallow your teeth. You thought this was a glamorous job, right? I did some interviews before I came back from space with some local radio stations from my hometown, and they said, "What are you looking forward to when you get back to the Earth? I bet there's a million things you want to do." And I said, "Okay, first thing, I'm going to spit my toothpaste out." Okay, lots of people are interested in what and how we eat in space, so I've got a quick little demonstration video. These food containers, the blue ones are provided by the US program, and the red ones are provided by the Russian program, and we're allowed to eat whichever food we want. The Russians use a lot of dried food that you have to add water to, and cans of food, and America's program uses a lot of food that's already made in pouches, and we just warm them up. I'm gonna put some water in this bag of borscht soup, and it's easier to get to the water machine if you stand on the side there than if you stand on the floor. You can look at our dining room table here, and you can see, if you see a spoon, we just stick the spoon on the back of some tape so that it stays on the table, but you can get to it when you eat. You can see scissors that we have to tie down for safety. There's Peggy. Peggy, one of the things that Peggy did as a great leader is she demanded that we have dinners together as a crew. We wanted to get together, make sure that we had a communal meal every day. This is Yuri Malenchiko, my Russian crew member, and this was his third mission in space, and he's had 2 more since then. He is a master of zero gravity. Okay, you were going to ask, so we're going to talk about it now. So, if you ever want to appreciate gravity in your life, think about it in the bathroom. Because without gravitational forces, everything floats. And so we have to deal with that. So this is the bathroom on the space station. And since we don't have gravitational forces to pull the waste away from our bodies, we have to use airflow, okay? So here's a hose and a funnel and a cap, and you take the cap off the funnel. Well, first of all, there's a door. You close the door. You take the cap off the funnel, and then you turn that valve, and it opens a valve, and it also turns a switch on under the panel, and air gets pulled through the hose, and that's what pulls the liquid waste away from your body, okay? That same fan pulls air. If you open this lid, there's a can in here, and you take a little special insert, put it in the can, and the airflow through that pulls the solid waste away from your body. And it works great, okay? It's a stress point for every new astronaut, but you get to space, and the machine works great. If you ever want to stop all science from happening in space, break this machine. Because 6 astronauts will do nothing but make sure that this machine is up and operational again. And it's been very reliable, and it's a great machine. Okay, this is my buddy Leland Melvin, and he's got a great story. He used to be a professional football player, an American football player, and then he went back to graduate school and got a degree, and then became an astronaut. So a really inspirational guy. This is his first mission into space, the flight that came to pick me up, and so we're having some fun. I'm showing him my favorite snack in space. And if you take that bag of water and you squeeze it very carefully, you can get a ball of water, and look at the air bubbles that are floating inside the ball of water. Really interesting. It's surface tension that's holding that water together. And so you can have some fun, and you can put some candy in that ball of water. And then, now look at those forces trying to make that thing a sphere. And you see the air bubbles in there until somebody comes and sucks it up. After 4 months of being in space, the Space Shuttle Atlantis with Leland on board came to pick me up and bring me home. And so at this moment, I'm touching the Earth for the first time in 4 months. I'm on the downstairs here, lying in a special seat that's actually sort of allows me to lie on my back. And this is another bittersweet moment in my mission, because I've experienced the zero gravity environment, for the last time. So I'm sad about that, but of course I'm happy to get back home, see everybody, and tell everybody my stories. The Space Shuttle was retired in 2011, but it was an amazing vehicle. We launched it at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It went into low Earth orbit. It circled the Earth for about 2 weeks. That's about 5 million miles. And it came down and it lands 3 miles from where it took off. In fact, they're just going to roll it back out to the launch pad. They'll refurbish it and then roll it right out to the launch pad for the next mission. It's an amazing, amazing vehicle. If you ever get to America, the 3 remaining, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour, are on display around the country. And I would recommend that you go see them, because it's an amazing vehicle. Well, about 4 hours after I touched the Earth for the first time in 4 months, I finally got to see what I'd been waiting for, and I got reunited with my wife and my daughter Keiko, who was 3, and my daughter Lily, who is 1. We've added a boy since then, so, more to share. But I had a 120-day mission, and of the 120 days, this was the best one. Thank you so much for your time. I'm happy to answer as many questions as we can fit in.
To be honest, I don't think that there are going to be any questions, so I think we can just go home, yeah? Are there any questions? All right. We have microphones, I believe, 1 on each side. Maybe we can get some additional lights so we can see the people asking the questions.
I know that we're not going to get to all of them. I apologize about that, but we'll get to as many as we can.
And I think we have an audience that has great English, but if anybody does feel more comfortable asking a question in French or Derisa, then my colleague FC will help with the interpretation. All right, so first question.
Hello everyone. I'm a first year student on aerospace engineering. I want first to thank you a lot for giving us some of your time and all the efforts you made to share with us your experience today. I wish I could ask them 2 questions.
Okay.
The first one is, was it simple to move from a master's degree in mechanical engineering to an aerospace domain, and is there a direct link between them?
So the question was, what was the move from master's degree to aerospace environment? And it was easy because because mechanical engineering is, I think, more general, and it can be applied to many, many things. And I applied to several jobs when I graduated from college, and one of them happened to be in aerospace. So I took my mechanical engineering skills and applied it to satellites and rockets. Some people choose to do an aerospace degree, but I just chose to do mechanical engineering because I could do other things with mechanical engineering also.
Thank you. The second one is about your participation to Nemo 2. I would like to hear about this experience and how much are deep oceans similar to the real space environment.
Did your research. So, as part of my training, I lived underseas for a week. Off the coast of Florida, there's a research vessel at 60 feet under the ocean, and it's used to go do ocean research. And NASA uses it to try out remote missions, okay? And so we as a crew of 4 trained to go live in this research vessel. It's called NEMO, near something, I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but we live underwater. And so once you dive down and get into the research vessel, you cannot easily come up because now you're at such a pressure where coming up will be hazardous to your body. And so you're stuck there. And so, like being in space, you're in that thing. You're not leaving easily. And so you have to work together as a crew. You have to work together with the ground. And so we use it as a test bed for going to the space station. And so it was a great practice for us to live in a vessel or a module that was not easily accessible. You couldn't leave easily, and people couldn't visit you easily. So it was a great piece of training.
Okay, we're going to take a question on the other side.
Hello, my name is Camila Rodriguez. I'm actually from Florida. I live very close to the NASA Space Center.
Great.
I'm studying Arabic here with some of my friends from America. My question is, the last time humanity went to the moon was 1972.
Yeah.
Why do you think we haven't been back to the moon since?
Wow. So you're right, 1972, that's a long time, and only 12 people have ever been there or ever set foot on the moon. Honestly, the reason we haven't been back there is it costs so much money to do it, and we need to define a mission and a reason to do that. And I think we're starting to do that. There's a presidential directive to go back to the moon. The thought is we would use the moon as a practice colony to then go to Mars. But it's very expensive, and we will almost certainly do it in an international context, like the International Space Station. And I think that's a very good thing. And so I think we're headed that way. I think, as I said before, we're definitely going to Mars. I don't know if it's 20 or 50 or 100 years from now, but we're going to do it. And if going to the moon keeps people in space and keeps rockets firing and keeps the people that are motivated about space employed and interested in doing something, I think I'm all for it, and I'm sure that we will learn so much about long-distance travel by practicing at the moon before we keep going to Mars. So I'm confident we're going to go to Mars. It's probably going to involve going to the moon, but we need to figure out, we need to raise a priority so that we're willing to pay the money to do that.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi everybody. So I don't speak English very well, so I will try. I have one question. Please, can you tell me how did you get this fantastic job? I mean, how and what did you study for that? And please, can I have your photograph, please?
Sure. Well, so I'm happy to take pictures with you. We'll do that after all this. So I studied mechanical engineering in university. I have a bachelorate and master's degree in mechanical engineering. And that degree started me in the engineering field. And then to get this job, I just applied for it and sent in the application. And then there was not much else that I could do. I believe that I was lucky enough to have good education and good experience that looked good to the people that were reviewing the applications. And I believe that I have communication skills that is good to have, and teamwork skills that are good to have. So I don't know exactly how I got this job, but the mechanism is I just applied for it. I tried. I just sent in the application, and I got very, very lucky.
A question back on the other side?
Hello everybody first. I have just one question. It is when you went up to the moon, did you notice that its surface was dry or wet?
I didn't notice. Can you say that one more time, please?
Did you notice that its surface was dry or
Oh, the
wet?
moon.
Yes.
Oh. Well, unfortunately for me, I didn't go to the moon. So when I went to space, I went to the space station, which is going around the Earth. But I've talked to people that went to the moon, and it's very dusty. So it's a dry surface. In fact, the dust on the moon is so fine and it's so hard that it's hard for machines to operate up there. It's actually one of the challenges about being on the moon. So I know that the moon is very dry. Maybe there's ice down there. We don't know for sure. But the surface is dry.
Please. Please.
Yeah, next. Hold on. Wait. Get the microphone.
Okay. So, first of all, welcome in Morocco, since it's your first time here. And it's very awesome to share with us your great experience. So my question is, how do you deal with cosmic rays when you go in space?
That's a very good question. So, radiation is a concern for us in space. The good news is the space station is close enough to the Earth. We're not way out there. We're only 200 miles above the Earth. And so we're mostly protected by the magnetic field of the Earth anyway, because we're not outside the magnetic field. So that protects us from most of the radiation that we might get if we, for instance, go to the moon, go to Mars. The other thing we do is we monitor. So we're always wearing a radiation monitor, like a radiation worker would. And so and then there's similar monitors in the space station, so we know basically how much radiation we're being exposed to. Sometimes if there's a major sun flare, there's a major sun event that will create a big wave of radiation. Every once in a while that will happen, and we'll ask the crew to go shelter for 15 minutes while that wave of radiation passes. And so you find a place that has lots of heavy things around it. We use water bags mainly. And so you go find a certain area where water is stored, you kind of squeeze in there and hope for the best, because there's really not much you can do in those events. But mostly we're protected by the magnetic field of the Earth in low Earth orbit at the space station. It's a big concern when we go to Mars.
Yeah, we got
All right, this young man's got a question.
Young man has got a question.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
First, thanks to the Moroccan Space Nuts to bring you to us, because I wasted so much time to some of the astronauts come to Morocco, and I have 3 questions for you.
Great.
How you feel what is the best way you describe yourself, your feelings in zero gravity?
Awesome. I love floating in space. Love it. And now when I see my friends in space and they're floating around, I'm so jealous. So I really miss it.
And the second one is what do you feel emotionally and physically while in the rocket ship?
When it lands, is that what you said? Or when it takes off?
When it takes off.
When it takes off. Physically, it's, like I said, it's shaking like crazy. And it's like being in the best sports car ever, because you're pushed back into your seat and it gets stronger and stronger. Emotionally, you just can't believe that you're in it. You just can't believe this is real. I can't believe I'm in a rocket going into space. So emotionally, you're just like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm so privileged to be given this opportunity because so few people are given that opportunity.
And the third one is how it is formed a bloody moon and a solar eclipse.
Say that one more time.
How it is formed a solar eclipse and a bloody moon.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, how old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
10? Okay, maybe in 2 years or 3 years, you're going to learn about where the sun and the earth and the moon are. And there's the moon circles the earth, and that whole thing circles the sun. And there are special times when the sun and the moon and the earth line up. And if it goes sun, earth, moon, the moon is in the shadow of the earth, and that's called a lunar eclipse. Okay, also called a blood moon because it turns bright red. And we just had one a couple weeks ago. And then if it goes sun, moon, earth, the moon casts a shadow on the earth, and that's called a solar eclipse. So, you think that might happen all the time, and it doesn't. But it's predictable, and you can figure out when the next one is, and they're awesome to witness.
Thank you for
Thank
answering
you.
my question.
Great questions. Thank you.
Young lady in the middle who has a question.
Hi, my name is Miriam. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
To see us. I'm actually a surgeon, and I'm asking you some medical questions.
Sure.
I would like to know what was the long-lasting effect from being in space, about bone density and amyotrophy, and how many time did it take for your body to retake,
Sure.
to readapt to
Readapt.
being on gravitation?
So one of the things that happens without gravitational forces, I didn't know this before I became an astronaut, but all of your bones are always shedding calcium. They're always shedding calcium. But your body is smart, and it says, hey, I've got weight on this leg, I need strength, so it regenerates bone mass. Okay? That's why your leg bones are bigger than your arms, because they have more force on them. Well, without gravitational forces in space, in low Earth orbit, your bones will lose that calcium like they should, but they won't regenerate because there's no forces on the bones. Okay? We really worry about that a lot. And so what we do on the space station is we exercise a lot. We use exercise. So we have special machines that are like weights, but you're pushing against a spring, and you do squats and all sorts of other things to keep forces on your bones so that your body continually regenerates those bones and keeps them strong. We've had great success with bone density, maintaining bone density at almost baseline levels over months at a time. And so we feel that our program of exercise is doing a very good job. In terms of muscle atrophy, same problem or same thing, that exercise also keeps those muscles strong because assuming you're going to come back to Earth, you're going to need the muscles and the bone strength to walk around. One interesting thing though, I said we do exercises and we have a thing where we'll do squats. But what I did not do is I didn't exercise my neck for 4 months. And so coming back to Earth, your head weighs 8 or 10 kilograms. And so now my neck has a new job, or a job it hasn't had in a long time. And that's to hold up my head. And so after a day, my neck was really, really sore because I didn't think to exercise my neck. So those are concerns, and we believe that our exercise protocol has done a very good job to maintain bone density and muscle atrophy.
Got a question back on the other side.
Hello. I want to actually ask you about 2 questions. Yeah. The first one was, you talked about the launch and the rendezvous, your journey in the ISS, the extravehicular works. But what you didn't talk about is the re-entry in the atmosphere, when the shuttle just crosses the atmosphere. I know a lot of astronauts, they say that it's a stressful moment, and I just want to ask you, how do you feel when re-entering the atmosphere?
So that's a great question. Remember, we're going 28,000 kilometers an hour, and eventually we want to be going 0. So there's a real challenge to figure out how to slow down. We don't do it with engines. We do it by running into molecules. And so for the Space Shuttle, we slow down a tiny bit over the Indian Ocean, and slowing down a little bit gets us closer to Earth halfway on the other side of the Earth. And getting closer means that now we target a specific place where we start hitting molecules of atmosphere. And those molecules of atmosphere, believe it or not, because we're going so fast, will slow us down, sort of like sticking your hand out to the car window. Okay? And as we hit more molecules and slow down, we actually get lower and lower. And so we have a controlled entry into the atmosphere, decelerating, getting slower and slower. And you can feel the space shuttle. It's like you're putting on the brakes and you're being sort of pushed into your seatbelt because you are slowing down, you're decelerating. And we have to be very careful because if you do it too fast, it's like jumping off a bridge under the water face first. It's going to slow you down, but it's going to slow you down so fast it's going to kill you. And so that's what we look out for. So,
yeah, my second question is...
Okay.
The second question is, am I getting arrested for this? I know it's classified, and have you ever seen any UFOs?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about that. No, I can honestly say I didn't see any UFOs. Nothing unusual. Nothing that I can't talk about.
Thank you.
Sure.
And then we've got another question here toward the middle. I'm ready with the question.
Hi, hi.
Hello.
Good evening. I'm a ham radio operator. My course line is Charlie NFCA Course Tango.
Okay.
I had several contacts with the ESS.
Oh, great.
Each time when I pass over Rabat.
Yeah.
My question is, while your mission, when the ESS at top of Rabat, have you ever had the radio contact with any ham radio in Morocco?
So the question is, have I ever had a ham radio contact? We do have ham radio on the space station. I'm licensed, but I'm not, it's not a hobby of mine, but I have friends who are hobbyists, and so I made contacts with them just so they could get the contact. So they were all in America, but I did, I think, 4 or 5 contacts from the space station so that they could get the contact.
Yeah, thank you.
Could you hand the microphone to the girl just next to you?
Hi, my name is Sundus. My question is how you can fly in the space.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, Susie.
How you can fly in space.
How can we fly in space? You mean like the movie,